Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ad Age's custom webcast sponsored by LinkedIn and Tealium. The topic of today's webcast is the B2B digital advertisers playbook with LinkedIn and Tealium. I'm Natalie Zafat with the Ad Age team, and I will be your moderator today. We have a few quick items to go over before we begin. We will be hearing from today's presenters shortly, and then we will open up the floor to your questions. To participate in the Q&A portion of today's webcast, all you have to do is type your question into the Ask a Question text area and click the Send button. You can submit questions at any time during today's webcast, and we will address as many questions as time permits after our presenters' prepared remarks. To get us started, please help me welcome Josh Wolf, Senior Director, Solutions Consulting and Partnerships at Tealium, and Lauren Atiyeh, Business Development Manager of Ad Tech Partnerships at LinkedIn. Welcome, Josh and Lauren.
Thanks for having us.
Hi, great to be here today.
I wonder if we could get started by setting the stage for our audience. It's obviously no secret that B2B advertising is at an inflection point with long sales cycles and fragmented buyer journeys, and of course, the death of third-party cookies, which has made traditional targeting and measurement obsolete. Yet, somehow, the expectations for personalization and measurable ROI has never been higher. Enter Tealium and LinkedIn. Together, your companies are helping marketers rebuild their advertising foundation around trusted first-party data by turning fragmentation into precision. Josh, Lauren, can each of you talk to us today about some of those key challenges that marketers are facing? And I wonder, perhaps, Josh, we can get started with you.
Thank you so much. I helped Tealium craft this story we call the Digital Advertisers Playbook. And really what it's meant to do is to help advertisers and marketers improve their analytics and their attribution around their digital advertising. And some of these things that you had mentioned previously, like the death of the cookie and other changes to the way that privacy laws are handled, have really made it difficult for advertisers to get a true view into how successful their campaigns are. So really what this is, in the end, is an opportunity for businesses to get a better handle on their ad campaigns, to be able to justify their advertising budgets when they go back to their CMO to show how successful they are, and to hopefully even get bigger budgets for their next campaign. So that's really what we're trying to do here.
Lauren, perhaps I can look to you to talk about some of the key challenges you're experiencing.
Yeah, of course. So B2B sellers really face unique challenges that are quite different than our counterparts in B2C are facing. So for B2B, our sellers face extremely long sales cycle, on average more than 200 days. So multiple buying groups need to be persuaded and vet your product or service. And that spans from sales teams to finance teams to legal teams and beyond. And as decision makers at your potential customers, shift roles, they leave the organization, and future decision makers are, rising up, it's more important than ever to keep your brand top of mind and ensure you're reaching your prospects with the right message, depending on where they are in the buying journey. So in B2B marketing, maintaining that consistent, relevant engagement is essential. Yet many marketers are struggling to accurately measure how effectively they convert buyers throughout this process. And this is why adopting the Conversions API is really crucial for LinkedIn advertisers. We know and understand that it takes a multi-channel strategy that includes both online efforts and offline efforts to really build those relationships with your customers and prospects. And we know that attributing these efforts to meaningful actions can be really, really challenging. And this is where the LinkedIn partnership with Tealium really makes a difference for our mutual customers. And this is just the perfect time to plug that right now, LinkedIn and Tealium are offering free white glove CAPI implementation for our eligible mutual customers. So definitely feel free to reach out to your account team if you'd like to learn more and see if you're eligible.
I wonder if we can start out by sort of addressing what seems to be the most immediate fire, which is signal loss. Pixels are breaking, obviously ad blockers are up. What do B2B marketers have to lose And what is the solution? And I'm looking through the camera at you, Lauren, for your insights.
Yeah. So the reality is that cookie deprecation, browser restrictions, and ad blockers really cripple pixel tracking, right? And that has been the legacy best practice for measurement. And so these challenges really blind marketers from making data-driven decisions on where their prospects are in their buying journey. And that affects conversion visibility, budget allocation decisions, and pipeline influence. We know that measuring B2B marketing and making strategic decisions becomes even harder when your data is siloed in different systems and often untracked due to those issues we just chatted about, including browser restrictions. So, however, the market doesn't really care about that, right? We know that 86% of B2B buyers expect companies to provide personalized experiences during an interaction. And so what CAPI does is allow our customers to send their own first-party online and offline marketing data directly and securely through our conversions API. And that helps reduce cost per action, helps you reach the right audience with the right message, and accurately measure campaign performance, all while respecting people's privacy choices. We know that ads really need first-party buyer signals to perform well and help our advertisers spend wisely and efficiently. And so with CAPI, we do see that our advertisers see consistently higher match rates, more attributed conversions and ultimately lower CPAs. When a customer utilizes CAPI on average, they will see on LinkedIn a 20% decrease in cost per action and a 31% lift in attributed conversions. And more importantly, we know that the pixel is really only going to degrade further as browsers continue to tighten rules and regulations. And if you look at CAPI as future-proofing, this will help you really make your business help make smarter decisions and make your budget more efficient.
Let's talk a little more about CAPI. I sort of hear it as like the pipe to get the data to you, but the quality of that data obviously matters, that's going into that pipe. So Josh, how does Tealium ensure that that data sent to LinkedIn is actually valuable?
Yeah, great question. You can think of Tealium as that data foundation for your business, right? Tealium is going to give your business the tools to collect these signals from wherever they originate, right? It's not just this simple journey on the website, like an e-commerce customer where they come to the site, maybe they come back a second time and they buy something. Lauren had already mentioned the long duration of the B2B buying cycle and the multiple channels that these people will interact with. And in addition, it's multiple people. It's not just one buyer. So that makes the journey that much more complex. And that's why Tealium is so powerful and useful to these businesses to be able to track that, because we can track these events beyond just a click on the browser or a tap on the app. This also might include signals from your CRM system. It might include your marketing automation tool. Maybe your data science team is building out lead scoring models in your cloud data warehouse. It could be anywhere, and we can take all these signals and bring them together and make it a really comprehensive view into the true customer journey. Now, what do we do with that? We unify that data, we clean it up before it's collected, and we send quality consented data off to LinkedIn for those CAPI signals to help augment those campaigns. And that's really just going to give marketers, the real view into the way that these campaigns are performing, and it's going to allow LinkedIn to serve the right ads at the right time. The other part that's worth mentioning is we are able to share this data with other destinations in addition. So we were just, I was talking a minute ago about the CRM and the marketing automation platform. They need these signals also. So the other tools that you use to interact with your customer, or even if it's a salesperson talking to them face to face, they can take these signals and use them as well. And when the campaigns on LinkedIn are lined up with the messaging they get in other channels, those campaigns are going to perform better too.
Okay, so we have recovered the signal, but B2B isn't a one-click purchase. A lead is just the first step. So how do we solve the attribution problem over a 6, 9, or 12-month sales cycle?
Yeah, that is life that I lived for many, many years as a B2B solutions consultant myself. And I absolutely agree that it is complicated and long with all different sorts of people involved in the organization, right? There might be multiple decision makers and influencers. So how do you do that? And that is by collecting those signals that we were just talking about a minute ago. It is behaviors on the web and behaviors on apps, and of course, the form fills and the document downloads that people are used to tracking, but it goes way beyond that as well. Being able to collect all of those signals is what's going to give you a real view into that complicated customer journey. It's going to allow you, the advertiser, you, the marketer, to move beyond just first touch or last touch attribution. It's going to give you that view into the reality of the way that your sales move. By Tealium acting as the central hub, it's going to allow an ad impression from 3 months ago or 6 months ago to be attributed to the correct conversion event. And again, it's not just going to be necessarily a lead. There could be all other sorts of conversion events in addition to that. So this is going to give your marketing team new KPIs that you're going to be able to work with. You're going to be able to really better understand your ad influenced pipeline, your cost per qualified lead, both for marketing qualified leads and sales qualified leads, and a much more accurate view into pipeline velocity.
Lauren, as Josh is talking, I am wondering, what is LinkedIn's role in this process?
Yeah. So once you connect your ad data to pipeline and revenue, it just unlocks a whole new level of confidence for marketers. When you know which campaigns actually influence opportunities and deals and not just generate leads, you can really allocate budget with precision. There's no more guessing or chasing up vanity metrics. It's really about doubling down on what truly drives growth. And that means creating a deeper relationship with your prospects and customers and driving revenue. And when you feed those insights back into LinkedIn through our partnerships like Tealium, our AI learns what success looks like for your business. And so that means our optimizations shift from clicks and form fills to outcomes that really matter. So pipeline and revenue. And this also changes the conversation internally at your organization. So instead of saying marketing generated X amount of leads, you can say marketing influenced this number of pipeline and revenue. And that's a really powerful shift, right? Because it can position marketing as a true revenue driver and build alignment with your sales teams and finance teams. And that means that marketing can finally get credit for its real impact. And you can report on KPIs like ad influenced revenue, cost per qualified lead, pipeline velocity. And these metrics tell a much richer story and justify strategic investments in marketing and the channels that are really working. So once your sales and marketing teams have a stronger orchestration and break down those silos, your business will continue to unlock growth across online and offline channels. As I mentioned earlier, when a customer utilizes CAPI on LinkedIn, on average, they will see a 20% decrease in cost per action and a 31% lift in attributed conversions.
As a marketer, I think I can speak for all of us when I say that getting the credit for true revenue impact is something that would be a game changer. So thanks for sharing about that. Okay, so looking at this holistically, we've got clean data in and clean measurement out. But let's talk about the next level, which is, of course, AI. LinkedIn has incredibly powerful AI for targeting and optimization, but that sort of garbage in, garbage out rule also has to apply. How does high quality first party data change the game for your AI models, Lauren?
Yeah. So as you said, AI is really only as good as the data it's trained on, right? And so if your input data is incomplete, if it's inaccurate, or if it's stale and static, even the most advanced AI is going to produce suboptimal results. And so in marketing, that means poor targeting, it means wasted spend, and a lot of missed opportunities to connect with your customers. And that is just not something that we can afford in today's economic climate. So first-party data can really change the game for your AI strategy. First-party data is accurate, it's consent-driven, which makes it compliant with different privacy regulations, and it's also rich in behavioral signals, such as conversions, lead form submissions, CRM updates. And when that type of data is integrated with AI, it enables hyper-relevant audience segmentation and predictive modeling and personalized ad delivery at scale. And so when you combine this with your first-party data with tools like CAPI, you'll unlock that full funnel visibility, smarter optimizations because AI learns from real outcomes, not just clicks, and lower cost per lead and higher ROI. LinkedIn's predictive audience feature will use your first-party data and LinkedIn's proprietary signals to create really high-intent audience segments. And so our customers can upload their source data, and then LinkedIn's AI will predict which members are most likely to take similar actions. And the system continuously learns and refines targeting throughout the campaign lifecycle. So our predictive audience really moves beyond those static lookalike audiences to a more dynamic, behavior-based prediction, which helps our customers reach decision makers that are actively in market, which will overall improve efficiency and ROI.
Josh, I wonder how a CDP like Tealium can sort of supercharge LinkedIn's AI. And I wonder if you could even give us some use cases.
Yeah, I think some real world examples would really help the audience here. So let me think of some things that I've seen our customers doing already. First example is smarter lookalikes within LinkedIn. So Tealium being able to capture those signals and really understand what your customers and prospects are doing. We can, for example, send over very specific subsets of the people that we're collecting data on for you. One might be, recently closed accounts that bought a product for over a certain amount, right? You want to find everyone who bought something for over $100,000, or you want to find existing customers with over a certain lifetime value, or people who are interested in a particular product. Any of those sort of groups could be very easily sort of pulled out from Tealium and passed over to LinkedIn, and then you could build your lookalikes at a much more granular level. So that's example number one. Example number two is a feature of Tealium we have where we can do predictive lead scoring in our tool. So we can say, for example, what's the likelihood that someone's going to buy something, or the likelihood that they're going to churn, or the likelihood that they're going to read a particular article or view a particular video. And we can take that and we can use that to sort of influence the advertising that they see on LinkedIn and potentially, interactions in other channels as well. A third example is being able to feed LinkedIn more information so LinkedIn can serve dynamic creative, right? You have a tool already in LinkedIn that is able to do that. So the more accurate signals it has, the more accurate the creative that it will display to each person. And that will allow, each individual who you're targeting to potentially see a different message than the others based on their specific actions. One other thing that I've seen also more and more often is that, at least in large enterprises, they have a data science team and they know their business very well. So we can send those signals to LinkedIn to supercharge the AI within LinkedIn. We can send those signals to your data science team in whatever tool they happen to use. They can build out models on the customers as well and send them back to Tealium, where we use those, again, to activate the LinkedIn campaigns. So there's all different sorts of ways that this can be used by advertisers to help make their campaigns more successful. And the foundation of all that is that clean, consented, standardized data. Without that good data to start with, you're not going to be as successful doing all these other things.
All very powerful case studies and insights. I wonder if we could sort of bring it all together for the marketers listening. What is that sort of 1+1 = 3 advantage of using Tealium and LinkedIn together? I'd love to hear from each of you. Perhaps, Lauren, I can start with you.
Sure. So I think the main thing to take away here is that signal loss is real and it's costing marketers conversions, attribution, and ROI. And issues like browser restrictions and cookie deprecation have made our traditional pixels very fragile. And so when you work with Tealium, when you work with LinkedIn, you can implement CAPI now to help future-proof your ad campaigns. And we really want you to be thinking about our partnership as not just a connector, but it really is a growth engine for your business if you are strategic in how you utilize your data, in your targeting, in your measurement, and your reporting. And so with Tealium's event stream product powering LinkedIn's CAPI, you'll replace those fragile browser pixels with a more durable server-side integration. And so it's not just a technical upgrade, it's really a strategic move to protect your marketing performance in a world that is just becoming more and more privacy-centric. And another thing is when you're thinking of targeting and trying to find your ICP on LinkedIn, you can really retarget based on actual lead status. You can target based on MQL, demo completed, or even opportunity stage from your CRM through our partnership with Tealium. And so this means that your ads speak to where the buyer truly is in their journey, and it'll help you just remain relevant and hopefully accelerate your pipeline.
Josh, what would you like to add about the advantage of using Tealium and LinkedIn together?
Yeah, I think it all goes back to the most accurate view of your customer's journey and your prospect's journey and true pipeline measurement. So I would just encourage all of you to really consider mixing in what you might consider offline events, again, whether it's CRM records or call center logs or chat interactions, all these other places where your customers are looking to interact with the brand. It's really important to measure that as well. So you do get that true pipeline measurement. And yes, it will absolutely improve campaign performance, and it will give you so much more visibility into what works and what doesn't work, and it'll help you justify your advertising budgets going forward. The other part I think that's really important to mention is just the real-time aspect of this, where that's sort of one of Tealium's core competencies. There are a lot of other tools that don't work in real time, and being able to notify LinkedIn that someone goes from stage 1 to stage 2 or stage 2 to stage 3 of that customer journey, and potentially that they're interested in product XYZ or 1, 2, 3, and they really responded well to a particular ad campaign. All of these details are really important because LinkedIn takes that and then uses that to decide what's the next ad that gets served to that person, or if an ad gets served to that person again. So being able to get those signals over as quickly as possible, that's really it's really important. And that also is another aspect that helps maximize the campaign performance. And if you're looking at lists of what people did yesterday or last week, you want to get those signals over there for sure, but they're not going to be as relevant, and it's not going to help LinkedIn adapt the ad campaigns as quickly and as efficiently.
Well, as we have all heard today, the future of B2B advertising is uncertain if you are relying on old tools. But if you've been listening to our panelists today, Tealium and LinkedIn provide a clear path forward. You get the ability to recover lost signals, as we talked about, personalize at scale, and I think most importantly, tie every ad dollar to a pipeline outcome. In a world where privacy, performance, and pipeline are all non-negotiable, this partnership delivers the clarity and the control, and I think the confidence that B2B marketers really need to succeed. I want to thank both of you, Josh and Lauren, our panelists, for your incredible insights today. To help everybody who's watching get started, we encourage you to download the new B2B Advertisers Playbook to assess your own data maturity and build your new foundation. You will find the link in the Event Resources tab. We are now ready to open up the floor to your questions. As a reminder, if you want to participate in today's Q&A, just type your question into the Ask a Question text area and click the send button. I saw this question come in for both of you, and I thought we could start here, which is, why does real time matter in advertising? Josh, maybe I'll look to you first.
Yeah, I answered it, a little bit before, but I think there's more to it. Right? Really understanding basically millisecond to millisecond what your prospects and your customers are doing, it does make a big difference. And I think, going back to the beginning of the presentation, Lauren was talking about that everyone expects a personalized experience these days. We're all used to, buying things on online, and the places that we go back to most often are the ones that present the most personalized experience. And B2B companies up until recently might have not had that inspiration, but that sort of has reached the world of B2B because we're all consumers as well. So we're all expecting that same kind of experience when we're dealing with, here I'm selling software, and people are expecting that experience when I'm working with them, or when they come to my company's website, or when they attend a webinar such as this one. So I think that's really important. And just to make it absolutely clear, when I say real time, we're talking a couple hundred milliseconds. So, the action that someone takes right now on that website could influence the ad that they see 1 second later after they leave that website, or potentially it could influence their experience on the website if we're talking about another channel like chat or on-site personalization. So that's really important. You got to meet your customer in the moment, and you have to really present them something valuable, and they will know that you care about them, and that you're listening to them if you can give them that personalized experience.
Yeah,
Lauren.
I definitely agree. I mean, timing is everything, right? So I think real-time capabilities help transform advertising from reactive to proactive. And so that really helps our customers stay relevant and be continuously optimizing and connecting with audience at the exact moment that matters. And I think, like Josh said, it's down to the millisecond now. And so in a place where, we're in a crowded landscape, right? There's a lot going on. There's a lot of messages out there, a lot of advertisers trying to reach a finite number of people. And so the more concrete you could be with your timing and your messaging is going to resonate further, and it'll help create that long-lasting, loyal relationship from your customers and your prospects with your brand. So if you are on time, you're late in this industry now. So it's not great for me, but I'm trying.
Appreciate those insights and lots of questions coming in. Josh, this one's for you. It says, can you share some AI-powered use cases?
Yeah, I think there's a great one. I attended a conference recently, and they were talking about using AI models to predict future customer value or lifetime customer value. So you can look historically at what your customers have purchased previously and figure out what their current lifetime value is. But to predict the future lifetime value, that was really something that had tangible results, and they were able to do that because they were able to do that because they had the right sort of quality data to make those inferences. And once you figure out who those customers are, again, we can feed that into LinkedIn. We can target those people and turn them into the actual high lifetime value customers.
We have a lot of questions coming in that are about CAPI. Lauren, I'm going to look to you for this first one. It says, what is the value of implementing CAPI if I already have the LinkedIn pixel?
Sure. Great question. So the answer is that CAPI recovers conversions that can be otherwise lost due to browser restrictions like ITP or ad blockers. And so advertisers will see consistently higher match rates and more attributed conversions and ultimately lower CPAs when you implement CAPI over the pixel. Also, it's really important to call out that the pixel is only going to degrade further as these browsers continue to tighten rules. So CAPI is considered future proofing your campaigns. And it's really important to be able to get ahead of those lost signals before they're gone forever.
I like how you put it about future proofing. Another question about CAPI for you, Lauren, that says, what is the ongoing maintenance of CAPI?
Yeah, so once the integration is in place, maintenance is pretty minimal. And, some objections that come up with our customers is that, they don't have dev resources, like their bandwidth is super tight. But updates to CAPI will happen automatically through the partnership with Tealium. So when you set up CAPI through a partner, your data flows are much more stable, and it's actually less fragile than a pixel, which will often break with browser updates. So when you work with a partner like Tealium, and as I mentioned earlier, we do have a live program right now where eligible customers can receive free white glove LinkedIn CAPI implementation. They will definitely take the burden off of your team and your bandwidth for ensuring that CAPI is maintained for any updates that come through.
I think we have time for one more question, and this is for both of you. The question says, what does CAPI recover that others miss, and how soon can I expect results? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll jump in there. Thanks. When can you expect results? You can expect results as soon as you turn it on. So this is I guess you'd call it a user interface-based tool, right? It's SaaS software. So you log in, and in the case of our white glove service, we would log in and set it up for you. But as soon as you click publish, then the very next event that happens on your website or in your CRM system gets sent over via CAPI in addition to that pixel that's still firing, and you start to see those results immediately. And, I think just following up on that, you also asked, what do you get with CAPI that you don't get? Was it with the pixel? It's all those offline events, right? It's everything that's outside of the web, which again, you probably haven't been tracking that previously. And if you have been tracking that previously, it might have been from some batch file uploads that have delays. And this is going to allow you to streamline that process for a real sort of enterprise level, and it'll get those conversions over as cleanly and quickly as possible. Again, just making sure that leads to the optimal campaign performance and the optimal campaign analytics and attribution.
Yeah, and just to build on that, LinkedIn advertisers will generally start seeing performance improvements within the first few weeks of turning on CAPI. This helps our algorithm really learn from the conversion signals that you're sending, and then optimize our audience segments and our reporting to include these signals that are being sent to us. And so we typically see an advertiser increase their spend by around 10% within their first 90 days of activation because they see improved attribution and confidence in their campaign performance. So we really do see once you turn on CAPI and you're paying attention and working with your LinkedIn and Tealium account team on those results, we're seeing performance improve across the board.
Well, we have reached the end of our time today. I want to thank both of you so much for your insights. And I want to thank everyone who's watching for attending today's Ad Age Custom Webcast sponsored by LinkedIn and Tealium. A quick reminder before we depart, you can view and listen to today's presentation on demand using the same link you used to attend today. You will receive an email as soon as the archive is ready. On behalf of our guests with LinkedIn and Tealium, thank you so much, and we will see you next